There is a scene that happens millions of times every day. A person finishes dinner. They are satisfied. Their body already has enough energy. They are not hungry. And yet, 10 minutes later, they open a delivery app. They look at pictures of hamburgers, cakes, melted pizza, chocolate, and suddenly a feeling appears. An urgency. A desire. A silent voice that seems to say, just once. The disturbing thing is not that it happens. The disturbing thing is that most people believe that desire was born inside them. But what if it wasn't that way? What if part of your cravings was not hunger? What if they were carefully provoked responses? And this is where the story becomes much deeper than it seems. Because the most important battle of the modern food industry does not happen in supermarkets. Or in kitchens. Not even in restaurants. It happens inside your mind. Imagine someone in a dark room. Only the blue light of a screen illuminates a person's face. It is 11:47 p.m. They were not looking for food. They had no intention of eating. They were just watching videos. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Until an image appears. A close-up. Cheese melting slowly. A hamburger shining under perfect lights. A crunchy sound carefully amplified. And something happens. The body responds. The mouth produces saliva. Attention stops. Desire appears. Like magic. But it is not magic. It is pure psychology. And most people never observe the mechanism. When we feel a craving, we usually assume something very simple. I feel like eating because my body needs it. But numerous studies in consumer psychology and neuroscience show that the desire for food is influenced by visual, emotional, contextual, and environmental signals. In other words, many times, we do not desire because we are hungry. We become hungry because something activated the desire. The difference seems small. But it changes everything. Because it means that hunger does not always start the process. Sometimes the process begins much earlier. With an image. A smell. An emotion. A song. A memory. Or a notification. Even an algorithm. Most people observe the food. But very few observe the trigger. And here appears one of the most powerful mechanisms of human behavior: emotional association. The brain does not only register products. It registers meanings. A pizza is not just a pizza. It can mean rest, reward, celebration, friendship, pleasure, relief. A sugary drink or soda is not just a drink. It can represent summer, freedom, fun, popularity, belonging. And that changes the rules of the game. Because when a brand manages to associate its product with a deep human emotion, it stops competing for hunger. It begins competing for meaning. Now imagine this other scene. A woman walks through a shopping mall. She has not even seen the store yet. But suddenly she feels like eating. 1 second later, the aroma appears. Freshly baked bread. Cinnamon. Butter. Sugar. It seems like coincidence. It is not. What is really happening is something fascinating. Your brain works like a prediction machine. It is constantly trying to anticipate rewards. When it detects signals associated with past pleasure, it begins preparing before consumption happens. Before the first bite. Before the purchase. Even before you make a conscious decision. Desire is already working. And this is where most people lose a battle they do not even know is happening. There is an enormous difference between biological need and induced desire. Need appears when the organism requires energy or nutrients. Induced desire can appear even when there is no physical need. And companies have spent decades studying exactly that. Not because there is a conspiracy. But because human attention is a valuable resource. And understanding how desire works allows them to sell more. But that was not the most interesting part. The most interesting part is that many modern campaigns no longer sell food. They sell emotional states. They sell relief. They sell identity. They sell belonging. They sell moments. Food is simply the vehicle. Here appears an uncomfortable question. How many of your cravings are truly yours? Think about it. How many times did you desire something after seeing it? How many times did you feel hungry after an advertisement? How many times did you open an app with no intention of buying anything? And yet you ended up buying. Because the detail that changes everything is this: the most effective influence does not feel like influence. It feels like a personal decision. That is the true power of any psychological trigger. When it works correctly, it disappears. Only the desire remains. For most of human history, getting food required effort. Searching. Growing. Waiting. Hunting. Today the opposite happens. Food tries to find you. Screens. Apps. Billboards. Videos. Optimized photographs. Algorithms. Notifications. Promotions. The modern environment is designed to maximize exposure. And repeated exposure produces familiarity. And familiarity produces preference. And preference can feel like genuine desire. But this is where the story becomes even more disturbing. Because the real product competing in the modern market is not food. It is your attention. Food simply uses that battle. Most people believe they are fighting against willpower. But maybe they are fighting against something deeper. Against architectures of stimuli. Against emotional associations. Against automated habits. Against signals that activate learned responses. And that completely changes the conversation. Because it is no longer only about discipline. It is about perception. About beginning to see the mechanisms. About noticing the triggers. About observing when desire appears. And asking yourself something extremely simple: am I hungry? Or was I activated? That question may seem insignificant. But it creates distance. And in that distance appears something many people have lost without realizing it. The ability to choose. Most people look at a hamburger, a soft drink, a cake, a snack. But the real phenomenon is much deeper. Because this story was never only about food. It was about something that appears in almost every aspect of modern life. The competition to direct your attention. To activate your emotions. To influence your decisions. To shape what you desire. And when you understand that, you begin to see it everywhere. In social media. In entertainment. In news. In trends. In consumption. In identity. Because the same mechanisms change form. But they remain mechanisms. And once you recognize them, something changes forever. You no longer observe only the product. You begin to observe the trigger. You no longer observe only the desire. You begin to observe who activated it. And perhaps that is the difference between living by reacting to impulses. Or recovering control over them. Because the most powerful hunger is not always born in the stomach. Sometimes it is born in an idea that someone placed in your mind long before you felt the first craving. If this topic awakens something in your mind, then you still haven't seen the most important part. If you want to understand it clearly, I've prepared something very special for you: the invisible war. You can find it in the link in the description below.